last chance. I'm gonna be pretty much talking about nothing but spoilers in this video, so you have 3 seconds to turn back. 3, 2, 1. Metal Sonic's entrance was a Terminator reference. I'm standing by that. The way the electricity moved, the pose he was in before he stood up, I'm also taking that to mean that he is from the future. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Z-Man Show. This is my spoiler video for Sonic 3. As of recording this, I just got home from my second viewing in 24 hours of Sonic 3. It is the official release day, December 20th. I first saw it early last night and saw it again with another friend today, and now I have to talk about everything. I'm mostly going to be talking about the big events and how I felt about them. If you want to see what I thought about the movie more as a whole and a film kind of aspect, take a look at my spoiler-free review, because this one's going to be going into more details and how I felt about the lore, how I felt about certain things being handled, and what I think is coming next. So if you're ready for that, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the post-credit scene and then we can talk about the rest of the movie. Obviously, I don't really have any footage to show you. I don't feel right about taking footage that people recorded and uploaded to YouTube and showing it here in the video. But if you're watching this, I'm sure you already watched the movie, so you know what I'm talking about. Not only do we get Metal Sonic, but he's not movie-fied at all. Like, they didn't make him look like, you know, that fan picture. I'm pretty sure that was AI anyway. He didn't look like he was made into a movie version of Metal Sonic. That was just straight up Metal Sonic, and it was so cool. He almost looked out of place, but in a good way. It was crazy. And then there's a ton of him. Where are they all coming from? Who's sending them? Who built them? Is he from the future? I don't know. He could be. He could be from the bad future. Sonic CD reference? I don't know. Speaking of Sonic CD, who stops them but Amy? Oh! And guess what? That was one of my predictions. I was kind of off about how it would happen, but I did predict it. That's not a really far-fetched prediction anyway, but I'm still proud of it. One thing you might have missed, because I definitely missed it, when Amy flies up in the air and catches her hammer, the moon is still broken. I didn't even notice that until I watched it the second time. I didn't put it together in my mind, but noticing it the next time blew me away. It was so cool. And that was actually the mid-credit scene. The post-credit scene, big shocker, Shadow's alive.
Why won't you die?
There's a crater with his inhibitor rings. You see his shoes step up to the ring, and he grabs it, and movie ends. Again, big shocker. So let's talk about the actual movie itself. So, first big thing, Shadow's origin. One thing that I was really curious about going into the movie was, how was Shadow on Earth before everybody else? Did Gerald create him like he did in the games, or did he find him? He found him. A red and black meteor crashed to Earth with Shadow inside it. That could be setting up a lot of different things, but they don't say anything about it other than that, which I'm fine with. That gives them so many opportunities for any kind of Shadow origin story that they want. They can keep it as simple as that, or they can go into the Black Doom stuff. Will they? I don't know, but they can. They did talk about giving Shadow a show or even his own movie, so literally anything's possible. They did change a few details for the movie, but it works pretty well. I think a lot of us figured that Commander Walters was going to be the one that shot Maria, or at least got her killed. We deduced from the trailers that she was just going to be in an explosion, but most of us thought that it was going to be his fault. Turns out he was actually trying to stop her from getting shot, which ended up causing the explosion. It's a movie, artistic liberties, it's fine. I think it still works pretty well. The most important thing is that Maria dies. We also get to see a decent amount of Maria and Shadow interacting and having a fun time together in an underground base instead of being in space. I think this is the most we've ever seen Shadow smile, at least in one project. Oh, and the Bio Lizard shows up in a movie that they're watching, an alien monster kaiju movie that they're watching. It's a puppet, but it is the Bio Lizard, which was awesome. It would have been cool for the Bio Lizard to actually show up in the movie, actually be the Bio Lizard, but if they weren't going to do that, that was a very cool way of putting it, even using that to further Shadow's character development, because the movie that Shadow and Maria are watching, an evil alien movie about the Bio Lizard attacking and destroying a city, making it a monster, which while they're watching it, Shadow does get a little upset by it and later on asks Maria about it, which is kind of what happened in Sonic Adventure 2 when Rouge was making Shadow question himself by showing him the picture of the Bio Lizard being called the Ultimate Life Form. So just that little gag even turned into another reference, a really cool reference at that. For like a second, I actually was wondering if they were going to kill Tom, because I knew Shadow wouldn't outright murder Tom just to make Sonic mad or whatever, but Shadow thought it was Walters, a guy that he probably would just straight up murder. So if they were going to have Tom die in the movie by Shadow's hand, it would have to be an accident for it to be okay in the movie. So for like a second, I was really thinking, wow, did he really kill him? But the more you look at it and how the scene plays out, you can tell, no, he's just really hurt and it's just gonna make Sonic mad and kick off the next part. Of course, apparently all he did was break his arm, but we needed it for the third act. If you've seen anything about this movie, you know that the last 30 minutes is everybody's favorite part. It's mine too, but I do have a few issues with it. Not that I don't absolutely love it. There's some issues that I have with it though. One thing, the same issue I kind of had with the second movie, but I thought they were going to expand on it, which they didn't, was the Chaos Emeralds. At the end of the climax of the second movie, when Sonic stops being super and lets the Chaos Emeralds fly away, I thought they were separated from the Master Emerald forever. And I thought they were going to play a big plot point in this movie, which they didn't. In fact, apparently they're just part of the Master Emerald again. And we're told in this movie that if Sonic wants to go Supersonic or Golden God mode or whatever, did they say Supersonic at all? They didn't say it in the second movie. Did they even call him Supersonic? I can't remember. Either agree with me or call me stupid in the comments. But they know if he wants to go Supersonic, he has to have the Master Emerald. I don't like that. I'm not super opposed to it. I just rather it be, oh, we need all 7 Chaos Emeralds. I get it though, for convenience sake. Oh, well, just get the Master Emerald. It has the Chaos Emeralds in it. I was just hoping for them to expand on the lore of the Chaos Emeralds, or at least have to use them to power the Eclipse Cannon or something, and that's why they were fighting over them in the climax. That's one nitpick I have about the climax. Another even smaller nitpick that I have is kind of treating Supersonic like this weapon instead of this really cool final power. I felt like they ran to it too quickly. It makes sense story-wise. Just for some reason, I felt like it was, okay, here it is, let me get it, and I'm Supersonic now, boom, let's go. Just didn't feel epic enough to me. But again, like I said, that's an even smaller nitpick I have. It doesn't bug me that much, but it does bug me a little bit that I wanted to at least talk about it. Now, Supersonic flying over the Earth with Gerald and Shadow looking at him being like, what is that? Is gun shooting missiles at us? No, it's moving too fast. And then Eggman holds up Sonic's quill and it turns gold. It's like, ooh, you get a really wide angle shot of the Earth with Supersonic flying. Pew! Flies through the Eclipse Cannon, grabs Shadow and flies him into space. Oh, that was so cool. Supersonic flies him back down to Earth. They smash down. Shadow punches the super out of Sonic, and they both see the Chaos Emeralds falling down. In the trailer, it was just them fighting. In the movie, they're both in their super forms, which, holy crap, them fighting in their super forms is so cool. When they started fighting, immediately I thought Dragon Ball Z. Like, if there was ever going to be a good Dragon Ball Z live action movie, that would have been it. Also, they should probably never try a live action Dragon Ball Z movie ever again. But this was incredible. All of it with them is great. The only problem I have with it is switching back to Eggman and Gerald fighting each other, with Eggman trying to stop him from destroying the Earth. Oh yeah, Gerald's not just trying to destroy Gun and rule the world, he's trying to blow up the entire planet as well as Shadow and Eggman. Eggman doesn't want that. He doesn't want to die. He wants to rule the world, not destroy it. So he has to try and stop it. Just the switching back and forth really took me out of the action of Sonic and Shadow doing their thing, especially after they team up when having their talk on the moon. On the moon? So cool. It's the only thing that bothers me is we see Super Sonic and Super Shadow powering up, getting ready to kick ass. Live and Learn starts blasting, and then switch to Gerald spanking Eggman. I get it. It's funny, but I was just watching Super Sonic and Super Shadow with Live and Learn in the background in a movie theater, and you switch me back to Jim Carrey spanking himself. They do that over and over again, and it's good, but you could have made each segment maybe a little bit longer. I don't know, that's the only thing that bothers me about that ending sequence, is going the back and forth like that, switching concepts. Because, oh my goodness, when it's Super Sonic and Super Shadow on screen, the shot where they're flying towards the camera, they do the Sonic Adventure 2 battle flying thing in their super forms. Oh my goodness, it was so cool. Like, you get one of the most badass things you've ever seen in your whole life, and your adrenaline's pumping, and you're like, oh my god, and then Jim Carrey spanking himself. That's the only issue I had with the ending sequence. But the funniest part of the last act, they straight up disrespectfully murdered Gerald, poke him in the butt with a supersonic quill, and he just goes, whoop, just pops. Bzz. He's gone. He's dead. That's it. It's so funny. It's like, why? It's so goofy and so anticlimactic that it's awesome. It's hilarious. So Sonic and Shadow have to stop the Eclipse Cannon from firing on Earth, and they can't stop the laser inside the Eclipse Cannon, so Eggman, Knuckles, and Tails have to steer the cannon out of the way, and Sonic and Shadow have to use their super forms to block the laser until they can get it away from Earth. That's why they blow up the moon on accident, which is still fine. I have no issues with that. I thought that was funny. And at least they did it. That made the trailer really awesome. That makes it look like they were doing the demonstration of the cannon, but at least it happens. That's awesome. The moon is cut in, like, not in half, but in a bit of it gets chopped off. Whatever. They pissed on the moon. That's what we needed. And then we still get Shadow's sacrifice because the core of the Eclipse Cannon is still going nuclear or radiating or something scientific. So Eggman has to stay inside, and Shadow goes outside, takes off the inhibitor rings, and pushes it as far away from Earth as he can before it blows up. And then, just like in the second movie, Eggman dies. And Shadow does too. We already talked about the post-credit scene. Sonic 3 is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it to pieces. There's a few issues I have with it here and there. Like I said in my spoiler-free review, I think it went a little fast. I think it could have used 30 more minutes to expand on a few key details here and there. But for what it is and what we got, it's a masterpiece. I absolutely love it. Like they were saying before, we could get a Shadow spin-off movie, a Shadow spin-off show, whatever they plan to do on that. If they do a spin-off show and have Shadow have his own movie, what's the show going to be about? Are Metal Sonic and Amy going to be part of Sonic 4? Or is that going to be tackled in a show? I'm really hoping we get a lot more movieverse content in between now and Sonic 4. And with the major success this movie already is seeing, I doubt we'll have to wait too long to see what little bit is coming next. Let me know what your favorite part of Sonic 3 was down in the comments. I will see you next time on The Z-Man Show.